Well, hi everyone, welcome back to the Nürburgring, the FIA Formula 3 European Championship, and this, the qualifying for races 2 and 3. And the weather conditions, just when you think they couldn't get any worse at the Nürburgring, the rain comes down even heavier. Alongside me is former Formula 3 star Alex Toril, as we see the #1 car of Joel Eriksson absolutely thundering through the NGK chicane. This is rotten luck, isn't it? Because qualifying for races 2 and 3 is absolutely critical, and the qualifying conditions are atrocious.
Yeah, we saw the last minute was a heavy rain coming down into the racetrack, and we see how much spray the cars are lifting at the moment. So, and actually, it's, as you were saying, we were talking before, is that tomorrow the race should be in the dry, or both races should be in the dry conditions, but they will now qualify in the wet. So we will see the results, and we will have interesting grid positions for tomorrow for both races, this for sure. We see now Joel Eriksson starting his first fly lap. Everyone pretty much
fly
lap.
Flying lap.
Flying lap.
Dull lap, isn't it, Paul? Honestly.
More than flying, I will say sailing.
Yeah,
sailing
that's
lap.
good, yes. I mean, it's conditions like this, you could almost get your jet ski out on the track, couldn't you?
Yeah, more or less, yeah.
So Joel Eriksson then, we're following them. We've got the clock on Joel Eriksson, the Moto Park driver. And there you can see his sector times in green above his name. He's being chased by Jake Hughes, who of course took P2 in race 1 earlier today. So Jake Hughes will be full of confidence as the number 55 car of David Beckman. Moto Park racer. Look at the spray that's coming off the back of that David Beckman car as he brakes now for the NGK chicane and flies the car through the curbs and will complete his first lap. And well, weather conditions really are rotten for this qualifying for the FIA Formula 3 European Championship. And bear in mind that the lap times set during this qualifying set the grid for races 2 and 3. The fastest time of Quali 2 sets the grid for race 2, and it's the second fastest time of Quali 2 that sets the grid for race number 3. At the moment then, it's a 1:41.604 for David Beckman, the Moto Park racer. Joel Eriksson is currently P3, a 1:42.536, but he's just been overtaken, if you like, by Nikita Mazepin and also the number 37 driver, Sasha Fenestra, the Carlin Motorsport driver who's making his debut in the FIA Formula 3 European Championship this weekend. There is the man of the moment, the championship leader and winner of race 1 and his qualifying performance. Now, bearing in mind the qualifying for race 1, Alex, was in wet conditions as well, and he qualified 9/10 quicker than anybody else in horrible weather conditions. So you would expect Lando Norris to do very well in qualifying here. I spoke to him earlier in a Q&A session we were doing for one of the series supporters, ATS, and Lando was saying that look at that, a 1:40.062. So Max Deforny is P2 with a 1:42.20. In fact, Norris and Deforny are the only two that have gone sub 1:41 times at the moment. He was actually saying, Lando Norris was saying that he really enjoyed it in the wet conditions because the car is presumably much more of a challenge. You spend some of the time correcting slides from the back end with the steering, don't you? It's a completely different driving experience, or racing experience, I should say.
For sure, I really like to when I have the opportunity to drive in the wet. I like wet conditions. You need to make everything out of it. You need to also every lap can be new lines. Every lap it's different, so you need to improvise a lot your lines. You improvise a lot when we see now, for example, he's correcting the car. You need to correct the car to anticipate what's happening. The brake is different.
Yes.
We see also with such a heavy rain, the track changed a lot. You have a lot of standing water. You can have some aquaplaning as well. So it's really, really hard, but it's delightful to race in these conditions.
Well, Callum Eilert and Maximilian Günther together here. Callum Eilert with 2 personal bests through Sector 1 and Sector 2. The Maximilian Gunter is ahead of him. So Callum Eilert then, the British star who dials out of that lap.
Yeah, waiting a little bit to make some
Trying
gap.
to get some space.
Get some space, some clear air.
Here comes Lando Norris once again then. Does he improve? Yes, he does. He takes 7/10 out of his previous best time, a 1:39.323 now. The only sub-140 time has come from the British star from Glastonbury in the UK, Lando Norris then. Of course, just a few weeks ago was testing a Formula One car. Look at this from Jake Hughes. This looks like it's going to be a blistering lap. Best sectors, Sector 1, Sector 2 of anyone for the high-tech GP driver, Jake Hughes. So he rounds the final turn, Coca-Cola turn. Could this wrestle away P1 from Lando Norris? Yes, it does. 1:38.047. He's taken 1.2 out. That's extraordinary driving from Jake Hughes, who, of course, had a good time of it in the race earlier today, finishing P2. So the order at the moment is Hughes, Norris and Makino. Then it's Mawson, Deforney, Habsburg, Ericsson, Gunter, Aron, and then it's Daruvala. Well, he's now P11. Because also into the top 10 goes Fenestra in P7. So there is Lando Norris. As weather conditions breaking up our pictures somewhat. And apologise for that, the signal interference because of the weather conditions here.
We say Lando Norris taking now an easy lap. Let's say cool down lap.
And do you, with wet weather tyres, Alex, do you need to recool them and just
no,
let them breathe a little bit?
With this amount of water, it's not a problem anymore. There's no stress actually for the tire.
You were explaining to me off the air how when you look at a wet weather tyre, of course, very much a tread pattern with tread blocks. Yep. And it's the gaps between the blocks that dissipate the water out of the tyre.
Yeah, exactly.
And you were saying to me it's critically important to keep the squares, those blocks, quite sharp in terms of their angles. And when you blunt them, that's when the tyres do not work as well.
Exactly. This is the difference between an old wet tyre and a new wet tyre, that you need to keep that blocks sharp. So when you use the tires, or what happened when you are driving with when we see now
Petro Florescu
making some agriculture.
Well, Petro Florescu, another one of the new drivers into the FIA Formula 3 European Championship this weekend, and
like I was saying, this sharp square are really important. This is different when you drive with a wet tire in the dry. What it's happened is these sharp corners start to get round and more round, and this is decreasing the performance of the wet tires. So the sharper, the bigger are those walls, the better for a wet tire.
So Petro Florescu is a motorpark driver from Romania, who is contesting this year's Euro Formula Open. He's currently P8 in their Drivers' Championship. And now Ferdinand Habsburg in car number 62. Carlin driver. Jake Hughes is quickest with a 1:38.047. Max Deforney now goes P2 with a 1:38.695. We've got just over 10 minutes of this session remaining. Keep an eye on Ferdinand Habsburg here. This is looking like it could be a quick time. So Ferdinand Habsburg then rounds the final turn and will head to break the timing beam. He goes from P11, does Ferdinand Habsburg, to P3. So 1:38.522 for Ferdinand Habsburg. Jake Hughes, Joey Mawson, Ferdinand Habsburg, Deforney, Aron, Gunter, Daruvala, Zhu. Lando Norris is pushed down to P9. Here comes Ralph Aron. All the times are quickening up now. Ralph Aron goes from P5 to P1, a 1:37.710. As the rain is coming down even harder, seemingly the times are coming down. Is that because the tyres are working better, Alex?
Yeah, probably. No, it's still raining. I had a feeling it stopped raining for a moment, so maybe the track was clearing a little bit. But definitely no, it's just the tires are working better, and also the driver, we see massive lockouts from...
That was Makino, wasn't it? Yeah.
But as I say, the drivers are getting better and better on the racetrack, better on the lines, and pushing more the limit. So that's why the times are improving. When we see Joey Mawson making a really good Sector 1, purple Sector 1, let's see what he's doing in Sector 2.
Of course, Joey Mawson had a good time of it in...
I will have to see if doesn't have the traffic from Maximilian Günther, but Sector 2 losing 2/10 in Sector 2. Let's see if he can close the lap with a good Sector 3. No, a little bit too...
I think it's going to be a bit scrappy, isn't it?
Yeah, a bit too fast on the chicane.
Joey Mawson was on the podium for the Van Amersfoort team in race 1. Lando Norris now goes P2 with a 1:37.932, so a couple of tenths off the time of Ralph Aron.
You see also Jay Hughes coming also with a really good Sector 1.
Ferdinand Habsburg goes through, and then through the mire that we can see absolutely nothing, which gives you some indication of what it must be like as a driver. If you're closely following a car, Alex, your visibility must be zero.
This situation is the worst thing you can have, is to do a race. Qualifying it's okay, but racing now in this situation with so much spray, you will see nothing. Unless you are P1 and leading the race, your visibility is...
Jake Hughes now goes fastest to 1:37.577. So a couple of tenths ahead of Ralph Aron and 4 tenths ahead of Lando Norris.
Lando Norris is struggling a little bit now compared to yesterday.
Also struggling there is Jake Hughes. He carried just a little bit too much speed, but he's done the job that he needs to do at the moment. What have we got? 7.5 minutes of this qualifying session left to run. And it's Hughes, Aron, Norris, Habsburg, Mawson, Deforney, Daravala. Then it's Guan Yu Zhu, Makino, and Maximilian Günther is P10. Lando Norris, of course, P1 in the championship, and this was where Jake Hughes then just ran wide, didn't he?
Yeah, locking the front right tire, running a little bit wide.
So too Callum Islet across the grass and onto the tarmac runoff area. Where is Callum Islet in the down there, mired in P20?
Yeah, it was just good qualifying. So we started really good this morning, and he had a really good pace during the race. And now he's struggling to find the rhythm.
He finished P5, didn't he, in the race earlier on today? So Hughes, Aron, and Norris, the top 3 in qualifying at the moment, with 6.5 minutes remaining. There's Ferdinand Habsburg. There is Maximilian Günther, who just wonder whether Maximilian Günther, you know, I can't help but feel whether his confidence is taking a bit of a hit here, because he led the championship, didn't he? He's in the championship, wrestled away from Lando Norris now, and let's be truthful, Maxi Günther finishing the race today out of the points P3. Must be hard, a bitter pill to swallow, but in the Formula 3 European Championship, your fortunes can change just like that, can't they?
Exactly. No, it's nothing decided. We see Maxi going a little bit over the curve, losing some traction out of corner number 2. We see now the lap times established a little bit. No big improvements.
No.
We see Lando his pace not as fast as this morning, losing some momentum compared also yesterday qualifying, where he qualified, like you were saying, 9 tenths ahead of everyone. When we see Lucas Auer having a look.
Former Formula 3 star himself, of course. Race winner in DTM earlier today, in which he had troubling conditions, as both Maxi Günther and Joel Eriksson getting very, very sideways.
I have to be honest, I would really like to go in a race car right now.
Bye.
Track.
Bye-bye. Yes, headphones come off, he's on his way. Stand by, get a car ready for him as...
Please, do it.
I don't know whether I would dare say it. A leading manufacturer's head of motorsport said the other day, you have a job driving our media shuttle. Which was really unkind, I felt, given that you are a LMP3 race winner.
I mean, no, must be the first media shuttle who won Le Mans.
Yeah, exactly.
So who won in Le Mans? So at least I will go maybe to the records for this.
I think you might be right.
We see now the car of.
That's Weidneifer.
Yeah.
Really, really sideways there, managing to hold on to the car, thankfully. And here in replay, look at how this car squirms under braking, doesn't it? The car of Kay Van Andres, who does a Terry Grant special in terms of stunt driving for the benefit of the spectators there.
Yeah, no bigger improvements. Everyone is standing on the times.
Super slow-mo now of Ralph Aron, who is P2.
So Jake Hughes P1 with Ralph Aron's P2, Lando Norris P3.
Where is Mick Schumacher as we have him?
P18 was before, yeah, still P18 with 140.3, which is around 3 seconds.
There is Mick Schumacher then through
2.8 seconds behind the first position. Manuel Reuter.
Yeah, looking on. Pointing something out on the timing screen. There is Schumacher then. Jake Hughes' time of 1:37.577 ain't going to be troubled by Mick Schumacher from Prema Power Team on this occasion. He's nearly 3 seconds slower. So 3 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. Bearing in mind the time set in this qualifying session set up the grid for races 2 and 3. The fastest time in Quali 2 sets the grid for race 2. It's the second fastest time of Quali 2 that sets your grid for race 3. So if your second fastest time, it's going to be race 3 that time is used as the grid former. 2.5 minutes. Hughes on a 1:37.577, 2/10 ahead of Ralph Aron P2. Lando Norris P3. Another 2/10 down on Ralph Aron as we look at Nikita Mazepin, who's the first one to show real improvements now. Personal best through Sector 1 and Sector 2. It's P10 place at the moment for Nikita Mazepin in qualifying, and he improves 5 places, taken 5/10 out of his previous best. So Lando Norris now has gone best of anyone in Sector 2, but his Sector 1 was not brilliant. So Lando Norris then on a final flourish perhaps, as we have just under 2 minutes of the session remaining. It was P3. Well, he improves to P2 by 8/100ths. So is Lando going to be on a final fast lap then? Well, he might get 2 more laps in. Or will he? Not sure he crossed the timing line in time.
Callum Elliott coming a really good lap, really good Sector 1 PB, overall best Sector 2 purple.
Yep.
So this will definitely put him in a high position. Just need to also get a second on good lap time in order to have a good grid position for both races.
Well, P1, Callum Elliott right at the last minute of the session. He can do another lap as well. 1:37.312. He has gone fastest in the session so far.
Lando Norris doesn't improve much on the first sector.
No, and he's not going to get another lap in after this one, is he? So Callum really throwing the car through. So 1:37.312. Here comes Guan Yu Zhu, PB in Sector 1. Sector 2 was nothing to write home about, but if he can put it all together in the final sector, Guan Yu Zhu, can he improve from P5 as he crosses the beam now? He doesn't improve.
Lando Norris coming overall Sector 2. Max De Forny with a really good goes P5.
Yep, he improves 5
and Lando
places.
goes keeps P2, just a 10th behind Callum Elliott.
And Lando can. There is Jake Hughes.
Oh, really good Sector 1 for Jake Hughes.
So down the back of the paddock now goes Jake Hughes then.
Let's see his Sector 2.
He's quicker than Eilert through that sector and in the lap overall thus far. So best really in good. Sector 1, PB in Sector 2. Jake Hughes for High Tech Grand Prix then.
Also really good Sector 2 from Aquino at the moment, which is best overall with a 23.850.
High on confidence, Jake Hughes, having taken a podium earlier in today. He goes 1:37.002, takes 3/10 out of Callum Eilert's time.
Aquino goes P4.
So Jake Hughes then. Lando Norris has got traffic look. He's got the Max De Forny car ahead of him. So Lando Norris PB in Sector 1, but he's going to be possibly held up by Max Deforney, and ahead of Max Deforney, that's ruined Lando's lap, hasn't it? That's the number 21 car of Nathan. And that means that Lando Norris is probably not going to improve from his P3 position, I would suggest.
No bigger improvement. Fortunately, had some traffic in the last lap. So, Jake Hughes, P1, Callum Ilott, P2, Lando Norris, P3, Makino, P4, Ferdinand Habsburg, P5, Ralph Aron, P6, Guan Yu Zhou, P7, Joey Mawson, P8, Max Deferny, P9, and Adrian Newey, P10.
Might have been Harrison Newey.
Harrison Newey, excuse me. Adrian Newey is...
Adrian would have been pretty pleased with that, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
He'd been very happy with
I'm really sorry.
Don't be silly. I'm sure he's flattered. He's no slug of a racing driver, it has to be said. But anyway, there we have confirmation of the qualifying for race 2. Jake Hughes, Callum Ilott, Lando Norris, Tadasuke Makino, Ferdinand Habsburg, Ralph Aron, Guan Yu Zhou, Joey Mawson, Max Deforney, and Harrison Newey. The top 10 with Nikita Mazepin, Gian Dravala, Sasha Fenestra, then it's Marino Sato, Maximilian Gunter. Where has Maximilian Gunter's pace gone?
Yeah,
Please explain to me, where has Maximilian Gunter's pace gone?
No.
It's just not happened for him this weekend. It didn't happen for him in Zandvoort either. So there we have it. Now, this is race 3's second best time. So it's Ilott, Norris, Hughes, Aron, Zhou, Habsburg, Tadasuke, Makino, Joey Mawson, Max Deforney, Gian Darvala. The top 10, so the first 5 rows of the grid, followed by Harrison Newey, Nikita Mazepin, Sasha Fenestra, then Maximilian Gunter, again P14, then PK, Ericsson, Sato, Beckman, Vadjanathan, and Mick Schumacher with Andres and Petro Floresco, P22. So the grid is set for races 2 and 3 in the FIA Formula 3 European Championship. So looking forward to those races tomorrow. The championship then reaching the sharp end, and all of a sudden, Lando Norris not showing what he showed us in qualifying yesterday for the race today. Jake Hughes, Callum Ilott, both quicker. So we will see. We will see. As spectators have seen really rather weather-affected qualifying session. Slow-mos of the top 3. Lando Norris, the Carlin Motorsport driver, the championship leader. It's P3. P2 for the British Staff of Prema Power team. The Italian team, of course, Callum Ilott, trying to navigate his way through the waters that have affected the Nürburgring track. But a supreme qualifying for High-Tech Grand Prix. And Jake Hughes doing a great job with those wet weather tyres. Shod on the car, so necessary in the dreadful weather conditions here at the Nürburgring. Jake Hughes takes 3/10 out of Callum Ilott and finds himself P1 in that qualifying session. So there we have it, qualifying done and dusted for races 2 and 3 in the FIA Formula 3 European Championship. Bye-bye for now.